Welcome to ZIV Tech One-on-One. Today we are visiting the photojournalist ZIV KOREN. A small closure, I know ZIV since we were children. Our family are very close friends.
Our fathers served together in the army.
Yeah.
So we have we know each other basically from when we were born. Yeah.
You started your photojournalist since the army service.
Yes, I served as a military photographer during my service, and I had no idea that it will evolve into a career. But yeah, I've been a photojournalist since. That's like 30 something years.
Yeah. When did you realize you want to this will be your occupation?
I think it was during the first Gulf War in '91. It was about a year before I was out of service. At that time, I think I knew that I want to be a photojournalist. You know, being in the right time, in the right place, and documenting history. And this is what kind of I became very passionate about photojournalism, and this is the period of time that I knew that this is going to be my career.
Interesting. You take photo in war zone, disasters area, etc. Can you bring some example? Recently you've been to Ukraine.
Yes, I recently came from Ukraine, and I'm actually traveling back to Ukraine in about 10 days. As a photojournalist, I document a lot of mostly unpopular subjects, meaning I travel to countries that are suffering from different national disasters to pandemics, and I've done stories in Africa on HIV and earthquakes in Haiti or Nepal, and cover war. Since the first day I've been holding a camera. And this is definitely a major part of my work.
Between the first camera and today, there were a lot of evolution of the camera. Tell us a major steps in the evolution, not in detail, but major steps.
I think that the biggest step is probably not less than a revolution, was the transition to the digital era. Going from analog cameras to digital was a huge step that had a lot of advantages and disadvantages that came along with them. But I think this is probably the most amazing step forward in the field of photography since the camera was invented. Because the camera started, you know, it was very big and it shrank, but it was still started. The first negative was on glass, and then it moved to celluloid. But you know, the biggest step is the transition in the beginning of the 21st century of transition from analog cameras to digital, which opened a whole new era in photography.
I see. You are using regular cameras, also analog and digital?
I don't use analog anymore. I don't see a point, honestly. I mean, there's something very romantic shooting film and developing the film in tubs of liquids and stuff, but there's no real I mean, what for? You know, the quality is not better. It only takes time and costs more money, and it's definitely time consuming. I mean, there's no really point, but it's like people are now going a bit back to listen to vinyl records.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Yeah, it's nostalgic and it's romantic. So there's a lot of value to it in terms of from an artistic point of view, but I don't really see a point in especially in my field in photojournalism, that you need to act fast and I want my archive. It's not just the result, but you know, I have between 10 to 15 years of negative archive, and you know, it's you need to store the whole thing. And looking back, needing to find, you know, a negative that I want to print, you know, it's crazy. And it's so easy to work nowadays when everything is on the computer, everything is digital. It's easy to find, and you can adjust your steps in photography while you're literally taking the pictures.
Yeah.
You know, I used to travel to Africa with storage of 300 rolls of film when working on assignment or doing a story in Africa, and the same amount of a box of 300 film I have on one single card of half a tera.
Yeah,
that I have in the camera. So the advantages are unbelievable.
Yeah, but you must back up.
You know,
against cyber attacks or.
But storage is cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I traveled to Ukraine. I besides the cards and the computer, I have hard drives of altogether maybe 10 terabytes. That very easy to download, very easy to back up, and you know, it's 10 times easier. I'm not even talking. We didn't even start talking about, you know, when the very famous picture of Joe Rosenthal of the American flag in Iwo Jima in World War II, which was probably one of the most known photographs of all times, took 60 days from the day it was photographed until it was on the cover of Life magazine. 60 days, yeah. 2 months.
Amazing.
Because Joe found a group of soldiers and he gave them his rolls of film and they traveled, and so the whole process took months before the picture was on the cover of a magazine. And nowadays, you know, the minute the picture is taken, I can easily download it and send it worldwide. So I mean, can you imagine the world as fast as it is today, without the technology of having the ability to transmit on the go? If you talk about Israeli media, so I can talk about Ynet and Walla and so on, but it goes to Fox and BBC and all the rest. They don't have one edition a day like we used to have in a newspaper. They upload between 18 to 24 editions a day. So if something, there's no deadline. The deadline is now. Yeah. You shot something, you have to upload it and to send it to your client, to the paper, to the website or whatever. But they all, especially now when having the social media around, things have to be uploaded the minute they're being taken.
ASAP.
ASAP. Everything is it's journalism on steroids. You know, it's always on the go. You always have to transmit and to move your pictures and to have them published the minute they're taken.
I see. Nowadays, a few years already, in the smartphone, from child to grown up has a camera on his phone, and the quality is getting more resolution, better camera on the phone. What is the difference between the camera you use and the camera on the phone?
First of all, there is still a big difference. Okay, I mean, maybe the gap will close at some point. I'm not sure. I doubt it, but maybe, you know, technology is progressing all the time, so that's something that can happen on one hand. On the other hand, you know, glass is something that is almost impossible to minimize. You know, to make it smaller. It's not like in technology and in storage. You know, you can store half a tera on something that is on a memory card that goes into your phone, which is like you know, this big.
Yeah.
Glass is something that is almost impossible to minimize, and this is why you still need the actual glass in order to have the maximum quality. On the other hand, value for money, when you have the phone, in most cases, when you work in a closed environment of not printing, just going, from taking the picture, seeing it on your screen and uploading it to your social media, and it all stays digital, it works perfectly well. If you want to enlarge the image or to make big prints from it, the quality is not there yet. I can use the phone if I need it. I mean, there's some advantages of having a panoramic image that can literally kind of go through the scene I'm at and getting a panoramic vision of. That's something I cannot do with my professional camera. So there's definitely advantages and disadvantages to that as well. I mean, in terms of resolution, people need to understand that quality and resolution are two different things. You can have a huge resolution on a file that the quality is not good enough. So the file size and the quality are not synonyms. It's two different things that people need to understand. When you say you have 20 megabyte files on your phone, it doesn't mean that it means that you have a big file. It doesn't mean that the quality is super high, because still the CCD is still very, very small. The lens is very, very small, and obviously the result from, having said that, the result from what you get on the phone and the value for money is still amazing by all means. But there's still a gap moving from that into the world of professional glass, professional cameras.
Is there a difference between the phones, or let's say one say it's better, the other say it's better, more quality, more resolution, but in a way it's the same?
Listen, I gotta tell you something. When a person goes to buy a phone, the first thing he checks is the camera, because the rest is pretty much the same. Let's talk, when I kind of divide between Android and Mac, and iPhones, that's kind of separate because their system is different. But when in 90% of the people wanting to buy a new phone, it will be related to the camera, because this is where it's still progressing all the time and improving. So there's definitely a big difference in the systems of the different phones having different cameras, and this is something that they always put in front when talking about you need to get this phone because the resolution is this. We have 3 lenses. This phone has 5 lenses, 3 in the front, 2 in the back. It's crazy, but it's definitely all based on the quality of taking pictures, because we live in an era where we are all, 10 years ago, you can take pictures and then do an album, okay?
Yeah.
In the era of social media, the outputs of whatever you can do with the footage that you're photographing, stills and video, and so many apps and technology that is involved in order to make your social media more interesting and better quality, and there's so many things added to that, and this is like the main thing today. So you have something to do with your images besides showing it to your friends on the phone or printing a few pictures. So this is what drives the whole community to invest in new phones, the companies to invest in better technologies and better quality for the cameras in the phones, because it's all driven to have your social media better this way or another.
I see. The special courses that give people more how to use the camera on the phone, to learn more, to take more pictures, better pictures. Is it, do you recommend it?
It all depends if you're happy with the result that you're getting, and there's always, you can always improve, and there is always something that you can learn. Some people, I think younger people do tutorials, and you can learn so many things on the web and go to YouTube and find almost every know how to do what in order to improve your skills in taking pictures. And others wanting to improve their skills by taking courses, it's all legit. At the end of the day, photography was always the most popular hobby in the world before the invention of the cell phone. And nowadays, obviously, we're all photographers. 100% of the population are using our cell phones and using the camera on our phones. And that's totally legit. So having said that, and knowing that it's probably the biggest hobby in the world, it makes sense that people want to improve again, and it all relates again to social media, because this is their place that they will photograph a lot. They will want to improve their skills to have better quality images and better composed and better lit images on their social media.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.
It's been a great pleasure. Thanks, thanks for coming.
Yeah, and we'll talk.
Thank you so much.
You too.